Right? Again, nandito na tayo sa classification of mixture according to particle size. So we have the following. The solution, which is a uniform mixture, that's the only classification under the homogeneous classification or homogeneous type of mixture. And please take note, pag sinabi mong solution, meron kang solute and solvent. Para mapadali, in simpler terms, solute is the one being dissolved. And most of the time, it's present in smaller amounts. Though there will be times also na mas marami ang solute, but please take note that it's the one being dissolved in your mixture. And then the solvent naman is the one used to dissolve the solute. So our universal solvent class is water. Mostly sa mga solutions natin, water yan. Okay, water ang ating solvent. Now, pag suspension naman, under na ito sa heterogeneous mixture, since the particle size are larger, actually it's the largest among the three, that is why this is also called the coarse mixture, where you can really see the solid materials with your naked eye, and the solid materials are distributed in the liquid or in the solvent, if we call it a solvent. Okay? Example, yung suspension natin na antibiotic, if na-try nyo siya, I believe na-try nating lahat, nung nagkasakit tayo, pinainom tayo ng antibiotics, yun yung pag binili natin siya sa pharmacy, powder siya. Tapos, nire-reconstitute lang nila. The term is reconstitution. Pag nilalagyan na nila ng water. And then, imimix. And then, if you're going to look at it, hindi talaga na-dissolve yung powder sa water. Instead, andun lang siya, na-suspend. Kaya, tinatawag natin siyang suspension. So, in terms of the size of the particles are very large na makikita talaga natin. Okay? And then we have the colloid, which is yung size ng particles that is intermediate between solution and suspension. So there will be times na hindi natin automatically makikita yung particles. Okay? So hindi talaga siya nabe-break kapag meron kang solid tas nilagay mo siya sa solvent like the water, hindi talaga nabe-break totally yung solute na ito, kaya hindi siya nade-dissolve. Instead, nandun pa rin siya sa liquid vehicle and then na-suspend lang. Distributed or dispersed doon sa liquid mo. Okay? So, minsan, again, hindi mo siya nakikita with your naked eye. Pero just like the milk, you can see the solid materials if lagyan mo siya ng light. Like, lagyan mo ng flashlight, you can see na the particles are small, it's there, and hindi siya na-dissolve. Pero, it remains suspended in the medium. So, other examples aside from the milk for our colloid, we have the mayonnaise, and the ketchup, and also the paint. So, kapag i-draw natin siya, actually, naputol ako kanina, no? Nagasulat ako ng example mixture. Tapos nawala ako. Wala akong kalit. Mahirap. So, we have mixture. And then, under the mixture, we have homo. Ay, ganyan. Homo. And then, dito sa kabila is hetero. So, under sa homo, you have the solution. So, mag-isa lang siya dyan. Solve na lang, ha? And then, dito sa kabila, dalawa sila. We have the colloid, and then dito, we have the suspension. So, take note that colloids and suspensions are heterogeneous types of mixtures. Any question or clarification? Wala na? Sige. If you're not yet done eating, you can eat there, ha? I-turn off niyo muna yung camera ninyo and then turn on nyo lang later pag okay na. You can eat. Okay lang. Kasi hindi ay dugay mo magkaon. Kaya ginabilang ninyo inyong pagmuya. So, okay ra na. Lungalan ninyo inyong kay basig ma-distract kung tanaw sa imo hagang uya-uya din ha. Yeah, balik lang later. Sige, let's talk about the properties of our colloids. We have two. The Tyndall effect and the Brownian movement. So how do we define these two properties of our colloids? Pag sinabing Tyndall effect, this is the ability of the colloid to scatter light. Example nun yung milk na sinabi ko kanina. Ano nga yung sabi ko? Diba, you have the baso, nandyan ang milk. Pag imuha na siyang iwagan, like meron kang flashlight, takbo mag-drawing ani oy kay murag lisod-lisod man. Okay, kung nakay flashlight, ana, mag-pass through ang light, ana. Okay, so mas scatter ang light and as the light scatters, makita mo na yung mga particles ng ating colloid na hindi pala siya na-dissolve. It's small, but it's small enough na masuspend dito sa ating liquid medium. Okay? How about the Brownian motion or the Brownian movement? Have you encountered this term dati? It's actually a property ng colloid. How do we define this? Yes, Crizel.
Ano siya, ma'am? Zigzag motion of particles.
Okay, the zigzag or zigzag motion or movement of the particles. In colloid, ito ha. So, di ba, hindi na-dissolve yung particles ng colloid. So, andyan siya. Like this one, makikita mo na siya. Yung particles na ito are constantly moving. Pwede siyang zigzag. Pwede din namang walang order. Basta constantly nagmo-move yung mga particles dyan. So, itry nyo nga kung magtimpla mo og gatas sa sunod. Try ninyo lagyan ng light and if you can see the particles, kahit hindi mo i-shake yung gatas, makikita mo that the particles are constantly moving. We call that Brownian movement. Okay? So these two are the properties of our colloids. Tyndall effect and Brownian movement. I hope that is clear. Okay? Tanong kayo ha. Pag namoy gusto i-clarify. Sige, so process of separating mixtures. Since mixtures are not chemically combined, they are just joined together physically, syempre pwede natin silang paghiwalayin. And the process are also physical processes. Example, decantation. Sa decantation, we consider the difference in specific gravity or density. Anong example nito? Nagalungag man mo, di ba? Nagasaing kayo ng rice. Ang ginagawa natin sa rice, di ba, nilalagyan ng water, hinahugasan. And then, anong ginagawa? Pinapasettle down ang rice, and then, ang ginagawa, pag nag-settle down na ang rice, ang ginagawa natin sa tubig, hinayabo na to ang tubig. We call that decantation. Okay? So, that's the process of separating mixture. So, sa sunod, pag pangutanon mo sa inyong mama, nagunsa ka, nagdecantation ko ma. Nagdecantation ko sa akong gilungag. Kaya naghulat ko nga mag-settle ang bugas, tapos, iyabon ako ang tubig. That's decantation. Okay? And then, sa distillation, napakita ko ito yesterday na we have the setup for the simple distillation wherein ilalagay mo sa distillation flask yung iyong mixture, tapos i-subject mo siya sa heating para mag-evaporate. So, kung ano yung unang mag-evaporate, yun yung syempre unang magiging gas, unang magpa-pass through sa condenser para mag-undergo ng condensation. So, anong ibig sabihin ng condensation? Mako-convert yung ating gas back into liquid na form. So ngayon, napaghiwalay mo na siya. For example, meron kang oil and water. Gusto mo siyang paghiwalayin. Siyempre, most likely, the oil will evaporate first when subjected to heat. Tapos, pag naging gas yan siya and mag-pass through sa condenser, magiging liquid siya, makukuha mo siya doon sa receiving flask. So, maiiwan doon sa distilling flask ang tubig and then ang oil makukuha mo doon sa ating receiving flask. So, in that case, nahiwalay mo na ang iyong mixture. So, again, the process is called distillation. And then, definitely, evaporation is also a process of separating mixture. I don't know if you have tried this one. Like, if you have salt water and then sinobject mo siya sa heat, syempre mag-e-evaporate yung water, ang maiiwan is the salt. So in that case, napaghiwalay natin ang tubig and ang salt from the sea water. And then, nung kabataan natin, bata pa naman, no? Pero wala naman nagadulaan eh, magnetic separation. So yung didikit sa magnet, syempre mahihiwalay mo siya. Kung ano pa man, dati naglalaro. I don't know if you have tried this one. Pag tanang nagadula tao balas, tapos try natin with a magnet. Okay, di ba? Susunod siya, yung sand. Yeah, magnet and sand. Okay, what else? Filtration using our filter paper. If that is in the laboratory ha, but we also do filtration sa day-to-day lives natin. Meron tayong mga sieving, mga sifter, ganun yung mga mahilig mag-bake. Okay? Pero if it's inside the laboratory, it's either we use the filter paper or we have the tawag dyan, yung cheesecloth. Okay? And then we have sorting. We do this a lot sa atuang day-to-day lives. That's just mechanical separation. Just like kung manglabata, di ba? Pag manglabata, mag-sort sa ata, hinihiwalay natin yung puti and yung decolor. That's mechanical separation. We call that sorting. And then what else? We also have centrifugation. Have you seen a centrifuge? Yung mga wala, wait lang ha, mag-google ta. Kay, syempre wala ta sa laboratory karon. Kaya kung napata sa laboratory, naon tatay, centrifuge dito. Diretso na unta ta. Pero kay wala man, Google sa tanong. You can also search there sa Google yung centrifuge. Wait lang, mag-share ako. Kasi, yeah, centrifugation yang sa washing machine. Nakatuyok-tuyok siya, no? Using a rotational force. Actually, mura pag washing machine ang centrifuge. Gamay lang. So, just like this one, kung nakita ninyo, ito, this is an example of a centrifuge. And may mga buslot sa, sa loob. That is where we place our test tube. So, since maliit ang centrifuge, just like ito pala yung mas klaro sa loob. Nilalagyan siya ng test tube dyan. And then, syempre, the test tube contains the mixture. And then, pag i-close mo yan and iset mo yung mga kailangan mong iset, like yung speed ng rotation, syempre, mag-rotate, magtuyok na siya. And, ang mangyayari, after the rotation, magsiset ka din ng time, depende na sa experiment. Ang mangyayari kasi magsisettle down yung mga solid particles sa baba. Okay? And then after that, you can do decantation na kasi pwede mo na itong i-decant. Pwede na nimo iyabo itong liquid na ito. And then maiiwan yung solid particles here. So we have a lot of experimental procedures na gagamit tayo ng centrifuge sa lab. Okay? May mga mixtures tayong paghihiwalayin. Like pag na-precipitate yung reaction, may formation of a solid substance during the reaction doon sa test tube. If we want to get those solid substance, i-subject natin siya sa centrifuge para mabilis siya mag-settle down. Kasi pag hindi natin siya ilagay sa test tube, hintayin lang natin siya mag-settle down, wala, ugma patamawan sa ato ang experiment. Pero usually talaga, ang gumagamit ng centrifuge, ang mga medtech, sila usually ang gumagamit nito kasi yung blood, nilalagay nila sa centrifuge if they want to separate the serum. Kasi pag ilagay mo yung blood dyan, tuyok-tuyok ni mo siya, ma-separate ang serum. Kapag need nila ang serum, meron silang mga testings na they don't need the whole blood, they just need the serum. So, pinapahiwalay nila yon using the centrifuge. Okay? So, yung mga solid particles sa blood, magse-settle down siya. Again, mahihiwalay nila ang serum, the liquid portion of the blood. So, sila usually ang gumagamit ng centrifuge sa laboratory. Sige lang. Hindi ko naman ito ipapagamit sa inyo diretso, especially if wala pa kayong experience of using the centrifuge. Siyempre, magde-demo ako sa inyo before yung ito gamitin. Pero hindi pwede na umabot ka ng third year, hindi nyo pa alam paano gamitin ang centrifuge. Kaya during the demonstration, makinig ha. Kasi gagamitin pa natin yan hanggang third year yung centrifuge. Marami tayong gagawin na experiments using this. Okay, so fractional distillation, kabaliktaran ito ng fractional crystallization. Kabaliktaran ito class ng distillation. So si distillation, isa-subject natin siya sa heat para mag-evaporate. Okay? Sa fractional crystallization, baliktad. Ilo-lower natin ang temperature. So ilalagay natin siya, i-subject natin siya sa freezing. Para pag nag-freeze siya, mag-crystallize siya. So kung ano yung temperature na sinet mo doon sa lagayan or sa freezer for example, so makukuha mo kung ano yung substance na mag-freeze at that temperature. Okay, so mahihiwalay siya from all the other components of your mixture. So baliktad sila ni distillation. This is freezing. Yung distillation is you will start with evaporation. And then chromatography, meron tayong gagawing chromatography pero sa third year nyo pa, this one is difference in solvent affinity. Yung pinaka sophisticated natin na laboratory instrument is called HPLC, but unfortunately we don't have that sa school because that is very expensive. Ang isang HPLC cost 3 million. So, hindi tayo nag-purchase niyan sa school. Again, very expensive. Pero sa pharmacy na side, that is a very important instrument sa atin. Yung ibang schools na malalaki, merong HPLC. So, example, UIC yan ako, diba? Sa UIC, meron silang HPLC. But you cannot compare kay 120 years na siguro ang pharmacy sa UIC. So, daghan na kayo sila og ni aging estudyante. Daghan na silang kwarta dito. Ang school is na palang sa 20 years. So, yeah, nursing ang unang gi-offer sa school. So, wala pa kaayot ta enough. Pero we have a lot of instruments. It's just that we cannot afford yet to buy HPLC. Anong ginagawa ng HPLC? Inject mo lang ang sample mo doon. Tapos, paghihiwalay-hiwalin, siya na ang maghiwalay according to the solvent. So, for example, maglagay ka ng water, kung ano siya, kung soluble siya sa water, mapupunta siya doon. Tapos maglalagay ka ng alcohol. So kung doon siya sa alcohol soluble, doon din siya mapupunta sa alcohol. So anong gamit yan sa pharma? Ginagamit natin yan siya, number 1, para paghiwalayin. For example, paracetamol tablet. Gusto mo malaman anong meron sa paracetamol na tablet. So ang gagawin, tutunawin yan ang paracetamol na tablet and then isa-subject siya sa HPLC. Pagdating sa HPLC sa loob, paghihiwalin niya ang components ng paracetamol. So, malalaman mo doon, na meron siyang paracetamol, tapos meron siyang starch, meron siyang ganito. Marami kasing component yung tablets natin, class. Pag sinabing tablet, hindi lang yan paracetamol, paracetamol lang. Marami pa yan siyang ingredients. Tapos, mapapahiwalayan siya ng HPLC and at the same time, hindi lang hanggang separation. Kaya din ni HPLC na i-quantify like gaano kadaming paracetamol ang meron, gaano karaming starch ang meron doon sa isang tablet. So we call that HPLC. HPLC means high performance liquid chromatography. Okay? So solvent ang ginagawa natin. Pero sa school, we have the TLC, that's thin layer chromatography. Let me show you how we do the thin layer chromatography. Wala lang nga talaga tayong HPLC kasi masyadong expensive. Pero sige lang, basta hindi ay sasunod. Actually, we do this using paper also kasi meron din tayong tinatawag na paper chromatography. And I don't know if you have experienced this. Minsan naglalaro lang tayo pero actually it's a concept of chromatography. So kung wala kasi tayong TLC, itong puti sa gitna, ay sa ito puti na ito, that is the thin layer chromatography. Nilalagay kasi dito sa baba yung sample. Tapos, maglalagay ka ng solvent itong sa baba. Depende sa'yo kung alcohol ba yan or water. Depende kung anong gusto mong makuha. Like for example, gusto mong makuha yung component na alcohol soluble. So, alcohol ang ilalagay mo dyan. And then, wala, ibutang lang ni mo na imuhang thin layer din ha. Tapos, tatakbo na siya dyan. And as you can see, you can get different colors. And different colors means different components of your mixture. Okay? So, minsan, naglalaro tayo with the paper. Sa filter paper, pwede natin ito siyang gawin. Like, instead of thin layer na TLC plate ang gamitin, paper. Pero, syempre, limited lang din ang kaya ng paper. Actually, after the TLC, subject mo pa rin ito sa HPLC to determine kung ano yung nahiwalay dyan na sample or na component ng mixture. Okay? Ito, meron tayong ganito sa school. The thin layer chromatography. Mahal din kasi yung TLC plate. Kaya class sa school, pinakamahal na tuition, pharma and medtech. Actually, mas mababa ang binabayaran ng ibang courses. Sa pharma, medyo mahal. Kasi ang mahal ng ating mga gamit. Tapos, daghan pag jud kaayo ta og chemicals. Marami tayo masyadong chemicals. Minsan isang semester nagagasto ang school og 5 million para lang sa chemicals na to. Yes. Kaya nahihirapan silang mag-purchase ng sabay-sabay ng equipment kaya wala pang HPLC. Okay, chemicals pa lang nahurot na ang kwarta sa eskwelahan. Basta pharma mahal. Medtech also mahal. Tapos yung naglinog, we have microscopes na mahal kasi we don't really use the simple compound microscope. So, mga mahal na mga microscope ang meron sa atin. And then, unfortunately, during linog, murag tulo ka buok ang microscope sa farm mga nahulog. So, wala ko kabaluon sa ilahang status karon. Hopefully, okay lang sila and magamit pa natin sila. You will use the microscope sa inyong botany. And then, you will also use that one sa inyong microbiology. We have pharmaceutical microbiology, ha? You will really be dealing with bacteria, with fungi, with other microorganisms. Thus, we need microscope also sa pharma. So, buhiun ninyo ng mga bacteria sa lab. Ano siya mag-next? I'll make it a habit to check the time. Wala mo time sa akong screen. Basig malampas ta namin klase after this. Na ano, si Ma'am Cherry. Mag-meet na mo sa butan ni Madam. Si Ma'am Cherry is my student, was my student. Ano yan siya? First batch sa doctors. So, gikan sa unang batch sa doctor sa pharmacy, estudyante na ko silang tanan. Mana si Ma'am Cherry was my student dati. Hangtod sa inyo, estudyante gyapon ako. Daghan kay miagi. Okay? So, ito yung ating ano na next? Ito yung ating chart. Simplification of everything sa chemistry. So again, chemistry is the study of matter. Now please take note of this. Can it be separated by a physical process? Physical ha? So kung hindi, syempre automatic chemical yung involved dyan, chemical reaction. So dito tayo papasok sa pure substances. Now, can it be broken down by a chemical process? If no, it's just a simple substance. This is an element. So element ito. And then if it can be broken down by a chemical process, syempre it's a compound. Now dito, if yes yung sagot natin sa separation using physical process, then it's a mixture. If it's uniform, that's homogeneous. If not, syempre that is heterogeneous. Okay? So yan yung ating summary for our matter. Any question or clarification? How do we study, class? Mag-study kayo after ng discussion. So later, pagkatapos ng klase, study kayo. Kung ano yung diniscuss natin, studihan niyo pa agad pagkagabi. Para, maano siya, ma-store siya sa long-term natin na memory. Yes, John Dalar.
Hello, ma'am. During quizzes, I'm certain that we might become unsure if we are presented a list of substances to identify whether the solution is heterogeneous and homogeneous. But my particular focus on that is what happens or paano namin talaga ma-distinguish if the solution or the liquid implied or any kind of substance implied is actually heterogeneous. Like for example, kunwari example lang po, ma'am.
Go.
Halimbawa, milk. At first glance, parang ano siya, parang it's like homogeneous kasi from how you see it, it's purely white, purely creamy. Pero when you look closely, it's actually a heterogeneous solution kasi it's jam-packed with a lot of microbes, a lot of molecules and sugars like that. And that's my problem. Kasi what happens kung may mga ganyan na substances na by the first appearance mismo, very very homogeneous looking siya. Even when you're not asked how the substance is made or how it is processed, my main concern is how are we going to actually distinguish if the substance that is being asked about is homogeneous or heterogeneous. Yun nga po ang concern ko.
Actually, that is difficult if you're not going to check. Kasi usually, ang mga ganyan, mga colloids yan sila. Kasi pag suspension na type of heterogeneous mixture, you can easily identify the solid part and the liquid component of the mixture, just like sa halo-halo or sa suspension itself. So, wala tayong problema with heterogeneous mixtures. So, usually, yung problem natin is yung sa colloids. Since yung particles ng colloids yung sizes are in between the solution and the suspension, medyo maliit. And usually, we cannot see it with our naked eye unless we do things na makikita mo talaga yung kanyang particles. So, I suggest na pag mag-study kayo, hanapin nyo yung list of colloids natin para alam nyo na, oh, this substance is considered a colloid, and because it is a colloid, automatic it is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay? So, for example, milk is a colloid, blood is also a colloid. As you can see, yung blood, you cannot really see automatically the solid part of the blood. So, blood appears to be like a liquid, okay? Pero it's actually a colloid Kaya nga yung mga medtech, di ba, pinaghihiwalay nila, kinukuha nila yung serum. So aside from that, yung mga semi-solids natin, so you know what semi-solid? Hindi talaga sila solid. Hindi din sila liquid. So we call them semi-solids. Automatic, they are heterogeneous mixtures also. So usually under sila sa colloids. Kaya yung mga examples like mga gels, mga paints, yung mga ointments and creams natin, hindi yan sila liquid ha. We call them semi-solids. And definitely they are heterogeneous mixtures. Yung mga toothpaste na ginagamit natin, it's a paste. Yung mga gels natin, what else? Yung mga ointments na ginagamit, mga colloids na sila. Mayonnaise is a colloid also. As you can see, mayonnaise class is not considered solid and it's not totally considered as a liquid. So it's semi-solid. So if that is the case, it's a colloid. So that is heterogeneous. Ketchup also is a colloid. So just like the mayonnaise, yung ketchup maglibog pa ka kung solid din siya liquid, dilipod siya totally solid, hindi din siya totally liquid. So it's a semi-solid, automatic, it's heterogeneous, it's a colloid. Okay? So, pagtuunan nyo ng pansin si colloid kasi dyan usually ang confusion. Si solution kasi, we can really see the uniform mixture. If it's liquid, liquid siya all throughout. If solid siya, solid din siya all throughout. Yung example ko sa solid na solution class, yung brass at saka yung bronze kanina na tinanong, it's a solid na homogeneous mixture. So, meron siyang content pero uniform yung kanyang appearance. And then ang heterogeneous, madali nating makita yung mga particles sa heterogeneous kasi nga malalaki yung particle size for the suspension. But for the colloids, yun talaga yung gawan yun ng listahan na ito, colloids, ito. Pero usually sa mga colloids are semi-solids. Okay? Miss Natayada?
In that diagram po,
Mm-mm.
under ng homo is solution and
Yes.
under ng hetero is suspension and colloid. Tama
Yes.
po ba?
Tama.
Thank
Okay.
you po.
Yeah, I will be posting a recording and the PPT also sa Schoology. I-post ko ito lahat for your reference. Syempre, mag-study kayo. Pero iba tayo mag-quiz next week ha, kaya wala pang face-to-face na klase next week. So, maybe on August 4. Kana. Pero pag study na mo, kasi mag-study mo the night before, di gini ninyo human mag-study. Mr. Salazar, you're raising your hand.
Additional lang po na question doon sa kay ang mga maging lagay sa quiz po, yung mga common lang po, hindi po kagaya ng mga carbon fiber, mga ganyan.
Hindi,
Common
class.
lang po.
Yung mga common lang. Hindi ako magbibigay ng yung mga things na hindi pa natin nakita. Na kahit ako, hindi pa ako nakakita na gano'n, no. The common ones, yung mga ginagamit natin sa day-to-day life natin. Okay?
Okay pa, salamat po.
Mr. Mato also, you're raising your hand.
Curious lang po, ma'am, relating dun sa semi-solids ba?
Mm-mm.
Yung non-Newtonian fluid na oobleck, semi-solid po ba yun?
Yes, semi-solid yan siya.
So thank you.
You will have, by the way, class, this is in org, no? And then I told you we have organic chemistry next sem, biochem on your second year. And then we have organic medicinal chemistry also. We also have physical pharmacy na subject, ha? Yung physical pharmacy na subject, yan yung physical chemistry. So, doon yung i-learn naman yung mga physical properties of our matter. And kasama dyan yung sinabi mo na flow, Newtonian, non-Newtonian flow, sa mga semi-solids natin, and other pharmaceutical preparations, din yun siya i-learn. So, kompleto ang package natin, complete package. Pag sinabi mong pharmacist, lahat ng properties ng ating mga matters, pinag-aaralan natin yan. Whether it's physical or chemical, kasali yan lahat sa discussion. So, puno tayo ng chemistry. Anything else? Yes, John Dalar.
Actually, here's a funny question that I feel like addressing kasi, di ba, merong tayong matter, right?
Yes.
Pero, bakit pala hindi kasali ang antimatter po? Antimatter, as in, may antimatter po talaga sa science.
Yeah, but we concentrate sa matter. We focus to what matters most, and that is matter, the one that occupies space and has mass. Yun lang yung kailangan natin para mabuo yung gamot natin. Since pharmacy man, so we need lahat kasi, ang culmination kasi ng lahat ng pag-aaralan natin dito, especially sa chemistry, is mabuo natin yung gamot. Okay? So, kung ano mang gamot yung gusto nating gawin. Kasi tuturuan talaga kayo, like, paano gawin yung tablets, yung capsules, etc. Ituturo yan sa inyo. We even have tableting machines sa school. So, kailangan lang natin yung matter. The one that occupies space and has mass. Kasi hindi mabubuo yung ating tablet pag wala yon. Kaya hindi tayo nagfo-focus sa hindi nagmamatter. Yun siya. Okay, it's almost time. Any other concern? I will continue next week. Hindi pa tayo tapos. Next week, I will be discussing the measurable properties of matter. And then, ano pa ito? I will also discuss physical change and chemical change, Hakay. This is a very basic thing sa chemistry, but a lot of us are confused if it is physical or chemical change. So, i-discuss ko yan sa inyo. And kasali yan siya sa quiz. So, ipapa-identify ko sa inyo if the change is physical or chemical. Okay, and then we will talk about, eto, since chemical change, sabi ko sa inyo, pag merong chemical reactions, chemical change, meron yan siyang evidences. And then yung mga processes involved sa mga changes na yan. Uy, na, diretso man siya close. So, very sensitive man day ning mga keys sa laptop. So, marami pa tayong i-discuss class, pero hiniwalay ko sa slide yung mga naming. Mag-name tayo ng compounds. I'll teach you again. I believe tinuro na ito sa inyo, pero I'll teach you again how to name a compound, whether it is covalent or ionic. And then, baliktad din, ituturo ko sa inyo paano gawin yung chemical formula if I give you the name of the compound. And then, after that, mag-chemical reactions na tayo. So, I'll teach you also how to predict the products of the chemical reaction, tapos balancing na after. Tapusin ko lang ito. Tapos, pag okay na tayo, syempre, balik na tayo sa laboratory and we'll have actual experiments. Yes, before tayo mag-end.
Okay, ma'am, I'd like to ask, kung masasakop na natin po lahat ang mga fundamentals sa chemistry, mag-ano po pa tayo, do we also have to learn more about coordination chemistry? Yung mga chemical bonds between transition metals and magkipag-usap tayo sa ligands and
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
Kasali yan siya.
Okay.
So, lahat, no, ulito na ako, pharmacist are also chemist. But we deal on drugs. Drugs talaga. We really need to study that para mabuo yung drugs. Hindi basta-basta gumawa ng drugs kasi marami tayong masyadong kailangan i-consider. Chemical, physical properties, and then anong mangyayari dyan sa drug kung inumin natin. Okay? So, it's a complicated thing. That is why I always tell my students, pag pharmacist na mo puhon, ayun yung sugot nga. Day, tagpila ni day. Anaon mo sa, day, pagdali, day, anaon. Yung mga, kasi natin, mga patients natin, they have all the patients in the world if naghihintay sila sa doktor doon sa clinic. I believe you have experienced that, waiting for the doctor sa clinic. Pero pag abot sa pharmacy, nagdali ta ninyong tanan, no? Masuko kung hilanay kay na dinhaay. Ingnon pa day pagdali day. Una nga ko nga I do not ayaw ibaba ang profession because this is not an easy one. Mahirap mag-aral ng pharmacy class. So hindi tayo tindera in short. Hindi tayo tindera. Manang dili ta mo sugot nga tindera ta kay dili jud na siya mao. Okay? Any other concern? Wala na.